Welcome to 10 Minutes with Tony Scott. Today's show is brought to you by Twin Cities Orthopedic. On today's show, we will chat with certified athletic trainer Adam Bahalski about injury prevention. Before we get to our chat with Adam, let's talk some hockey from last weekend. First of all, thumbs up to Minnesota hockey for getting it right this year by putting all the high school boys from Minnesota in the same facility. I spent the majority of my time watching the HP 15 boys in Plymouth. We saw some great hockey players from all over the state. Likely the best game of the weekend was the second to last game between District 6 and District 11. Both teams were loaded with talent. D6 had Ben Brinkman, Brady Zemer, and Jack Lagerstrom on the blue line, and up front they had Demetrius Kumantsis, Ryan Lesko, and Jack Bayless. D11 had Landon Langenbrunner, who had 5 goals last weekend, Ryder Donovan and Ian Mayhew up front, and Carson Cochran and Nick Baker on the blue line. It was a great game, very crisp passing, and my favorite, lots of goals scored. The final was 7-5, D6 won. Other players that really stood out over the weekend, 9th graders Deb McCabe from SPA, Keandre Miller from Minnetonka, and Blake McLaughlin from Grand Rapids. 8th graders that had big weekends were Moorhead's Ethan Frisch, Maple Grove's Trevor Janicki, and St. Thomas Academy's Tommy Wiggis. A few new names surfaced as well. Edina's Bjorn Swanson really had a great weekend. So did Jackson Willie from Forest Lake. He's got a bright future. And lastly, Jack Kuzi from Mankato. The Mankato East freshman was a rock star on the nets all weekend for District 9. In the HP 16 and 17 Final 54, a few players caught our eye. Casey Calick, a defenseman from East Grand Forks, had 3 goals for the blue team. Now prospect Brady Tatro from Bemidji had 3 goals and 2 assists last weekend. And Cameron Buell, a recent add as a 2017 Now prospect, had 2 goals and assist for the blue team. Today we are joined with Adam Bahalski from Twin Cities Orthopedic. Adam and I will talk about injury prevention and a really cool program called AMP for players who are looking for a customized off-season training regimen. We're joined today with Adam Bahalski from Twin Cities Orthopedic. Adam's the manager of sports medicine for TCO. Thanks for joining us today, Adam.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tony.
We had a great segment the last time you were in. We talked a little bit about injuries. Now we're going to talk a little about injury prevention. Let me talk to us a little bit about how someone can prevent injuries along the way for an athletic kid.
Yeah, great question. In the game of hockey, you see a lot of groin and hip injuries and some abdomen injuries as well, the core muscles. So one of the best things you can do to help prevent that is stretching and work on strength training and improve your flexibility and strength.
So let's talk about strength. Is this weightlifting, or is just all kinds of different ways you can get stronger?
Yeah, it's really all kinds of different ways you can get stronger. It's lifting weights. It's doing a lot of body weight activities. It's doing a lot of stretching, incorporating that with the lifting as well. And it's really kind of improved along the way. It's not so much we're just going to sit there and do curls like you've done in the past. Yep.
Right. I got you. All right. So talk a little about the stretching regimen. Talk about what a player, an athlete should do heading into a game.
Yeah. So getting into the game, before the game, you really want to work on getting warmed up, get a good warm up in, and then kind of stretch the muscles. You want to stretch your groins, your hips, your glutes. You kind of work on your core muscles as well, and get yourself nice and loose and ready to go for the game.
It's like an engine. You want to prime the pump.
You want to prime the pump, absolutely.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the program today, the AMP program. We talked a little bit about off camera. Talk a little bit about what the AMP program is and what its benefits would be to our readers and our viewers.
Yeah, so Twin Cities Orthopedics has a new sports performance program. It's called the AMP program, which stands for Athletic Movement and Performance. It's a research-based program that has been put together by athletic trainers and physical therapists and strength and conditioning coaches. It's an 8-week-long program, and it's going to work on improving your speed, your strength, and your agility.
What I like best about it is it's individualized,
Yep.
so you can schedule it to your schedule, not to a specific class.
Yeah, it's very convenient that way. It's not a class. You're going to work with a certified athletic trainer. You're going to work with a certified strength and conditioning coach. They're going to individualize the program to you to fit your needs based off of your AMP score results. They're going to work on strength, speed, power, agility.
Talk about the AMP score. I know there's some type of baseline testing at the beginning and the end.
Yeah, so basically what the AMP is a baseline testing at the beginning. You'll take right at the start of the program, and that gives us feedback onto where you're at with your strength and your agility and your speed. You'll work for 8 weeks and hopefully improve on that, and then you'll take the testing again and be able to see your results.
All right, well, great. So let's talk a little bit about, heading into spring sports. A lot of our skaters are also into other sports, lacrosse, baseball, soccer. What are some ways that what are some advice you could give them as they go into a really heavy season for this pattern of their games?
As they approach that, try and get as much rest as you can. I know it's kind of old school thought, but there is a lot of benefit into getting the proper rest and recovery. That goes a long way, and it also helps you just improve mentally and physically and get you ready for the next go round.
Well, great. Good advice. I like that. That's kind of goes along the theme of what we try to preach is to take some time off, let the body and the brain refresh before you get back out on the ice or get back on the ball field.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Adam. We appreciate your time with us. We appreciate TCO sponsorship of YHH.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tony.
Thanks, Adam, for joining us today. TCO will be giving out free athletic physical exams in late July. Check out the TCO website to get the details. As most know, every high school athlete must have a physical on file with their high school that is less than 2 years old. Late July is when fall sports signups begins. TCO will have 7 of their clinics open by appointment only for a free physical. Thanks to them for their sponsorship of our site and this service. This fall, YHH will be hosting the Pee Wee Challenge. Details about the event will be live on YHH very soon. This year, we will have 2 Pee Wee divisions for the boys, Pee Wee Minor and Pee Wee Major, and 1 for the girls that will combine both the U11s and U12s. Coaches have been selected. Invited players will be revealed on YHH in the coming weeks. Speaking of YHH events, as part of our summer series, we are beginning to accept registrations for our AAA State of Hockey Showdown Tournament in August. Lots of good teams have registered. We expect a lot more in the coming weeks. There is a Summer Series button on the right-hand side of YHH. Tweet of the Week. This week's Tweet of the Week goes to new Osseo Maple Grove President Rob Borsch, who zinged his buddy Kurt Shalene last week after I mentioned dressing up like Kurt in Zubaz. Rob says, you also need to walk in the rink with a bag of popcorn and find a way to misspell wild in your tweets. I'm still laughing about that one. Thanks, Rob. Featured Now Prospects. This week's Featured Now Prospects are 2018 prospect Lucas McGregor from Centennial. He had 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points in 3 games. His division stock went through the roof the last 2 weeks. Another Now prospect whose stock continues to rise is 2019 prospect Trevor Janicki. Janicki has great speed and even better playmaking ability. Before we get to the booms, a quick reminder to all teams next year. In May, we will begin inviting teams to our winter tournaments, the Big Pumpkin, the Battle for the Blue Ox, Founders Cup, and of course the YHH Squirtacular. If your team is interested in an invite, please send a note to youthhockeyhub@gmail.com via email. All right, let's get to the booms. This week, boom goes to the dad who only talks about hockey and specifically their kid that plays hockey. I know we run a website dedicated to hockey, but we actually care about other things, like other kids and their interests. My favorite is the mom or dad who will introduce their children to me who don't play hockey. They'll say, this is Johnny, he's 10, he doesn't play hockey, and then look at him like he has leprosy. Every kid isn't going to play hockey, but in my opinion, every kid has a story, and believe it or not, I really care about what they do. Maybe you should too. Thumbs up. Thumbs up to the kids who did not make the HP 15 summer camp on the list that came out today. So many players did so well, like Bjorn Swanson, Zach Shalene, and Tyler Linneruth, to name a few. To you guys and the others that did not make it, your career is not over. For some, it is just the beginning. 2 years ago, Casey Middlestad didn't even make the festival, and it was probably the best thing for him. He's now a future Gopher. And current Winnipeg Jet Blake Wheeler never made it to the festival either. Those two are doing just fine now. If you guys keep working, your best years are still to come. It was great seeing so many people last weekend from around the state. We'll be back in the rink this weekend. I hope to see you there. Have a nice day.